we have a special guest, Margaret. Margaret has been practicing Raj Yoga for over 30 years, so she will be sharing her powerful insights which she has tested and have worked for her. And she also has a degree in adult education and training and works as an empowered living consultant. So welcome and enjoy the talk.
Thank you very much. Nice welcome. And welcome to all of you too here and online. And I was having a few thoughts about self-talk, and probably it's the most important thing in life, because self-talk is basically what goes on inside us. And we talk to ourselves about ourselves. We talk to ourselves about others. And we talk to ourselves about situations, the ones, around us. And we also talk to ourselves about situations in the world. So it kind of made me aware how important that it is to get that self-talk right, because it's probably comes. It was a very little situation, but on the Tuesday afternoon, I generally do my ironing because I've hung up the laundry usually on a Sunday, Monday morning. So Tuesday, and then one of the other people I live with said, "Oh, I need the space on the line." I prefer to iron straight from the line because it's much easier. It doesn't, or crumpled. We all know this, right? But they were saying, "But I need that space. I need that." So I kind of, at first, I thought, I want to do what I always do, but I just left the area for a bit. You know, I went and purposely took something upstairs, and that gave me kind of a chance. And I thought, just do it differently. Be cooperative. Be cooperative. So I came back down and I just took it all down. I laid it out nicely so it wouldn't be so much effort to iron. And that person was really happy. And even actually, they did not end up using that space. And I know in the past, I would have thought, I made all that effort and they didn't even use the space. I know I would have had those kind of thoughts. But today I thought, no, the most important thing is I created the energy of cooperation. You see the difference? I can see that there's progress because I know what I would have liked being like, 5-10 years ago. So there's much more capacity to keep what's in here beneficial to me. Because the thing that I'm also learning is whatever you allow in your mind, your thoughts, which ultimately lead to your feelings, that's the thing, isn't it? Thoughts don't come alone, they come with a feeling, an energy. You're the first recipient of that. You're the first receiver of whatever you allow in your mind. So you can't be thinking about what that person over there is doing and not like it and not think that you're impacting yourself. You are creating that thought of dislike. You're creating that thought of they should be doing something different. And you are now living with the energy of those thoughts you're having about that person over there. And you think it's about that person over there, but you're the first recipient of the energy that you allowed to create in your mind. And this is why I think really these great souls, they just want to see good in everyone. And apparently there's this Indian saint, I don't know what century he was in, but he's remembered as the one who had saw the goodness in everyone and everything. And we think, wow, isn't that amazing? But he understood. If I'm seeing the goodness in everyone and everything, I'm seeing the qualities in people, I'm seeing the best in people, I'm almost looking out for, amidst all this other stuff, what is the goodness? What is the speciality of that person? When I'm looking for that, I am actually also protecting myself. So in a way, there isn't anything out there because whatever I allow inside myself, I'm the experiencer of it. So, and I think this is why there's a memory of it's all one. It isn't really all one. I am an individual person just as you are an individual. I'm an individual soul, you're an individual soul. You inhabit your body, I inhabit my body. But there's no separation because a thought is first here before it even goes out there. So let's imagine, here comes a situation that maybe someone's not respectful. In fact, I had that today. I was kind of quite light and easy, and someone said in quite a tone something not so nice. And I thought, that's not about me. That's about where they're at. That's what's going on for them. So I didn't allow it to, I remember it now because I'm telling you, but I didn't allow it to bring me down. Whereas often when someone doesn't treat you well, you start having thoughts about, oh, maybe it might be, oh, they're not very nice, or could be that, and you go into more of an arrogance, or you go into a low self-esteem, like, oh, they didn't treat me well, and I might not be so good. And so, the ego can go either way into arrogance, like, who do they think they are? Or it can go, oh, they didn't treat me well, so I might not be good enough to be treated well. But actually, when you stay in your own self-respect, you start to realize that's them. I don't have to allow any thoughts about it at all. I just go on with my own business. And this is the biggest protection for ourselves. What others do is outside us. And one way that I like to look at it is like there's almost two circles. There's the outside circle of life, and there's the inside circle. And whatever I allow inside on my inner circle, or we can call it here inner space, right? What I allow in that inner space actually goes out as energy. And when I'm creating something really nice and positive in that inner space, that goes out, and then I don't take in negativity. But if I'm not making the effort to create something nice in there, then I'm kind of open. And then any energy can come and fill my mind. So there's this thing that we're always carrying, I am. It's very subtle. I am, ... And I have to very consciously fill that space. So if I got up in the morning and I thought, I am a peaceful, loving soul, I'm filling that space with something quite elevated, if you like, quite high. I'm a peaceful, loving soul. And then I might even explore, okay, what does it feel like when I'm peaceful? What would it look like as I go about my day if I'm peaceful? Okay, I'll be calm in situations. Maybe in that meeting I'll be calm, or I'll be a bit more patient. If someone brushes me on the underground, I'm not going to get too affected by it, And if I'm loving, that means I'll be kind of looking out for doing kind things to people. I'll be, wanting to uplift them. But if I haven't kind of qualified that space, I am, and I haven't done any preparation, then I'm vacant. And then anything can fill that space. I might even be quite close to someone who's thinking I am angry, and I start to pick up the energy of that, and then suddenly I start to feel a bit blah or a bit uncomfortable, because I have not put the energy in to creating my own consciousness. So if we don't prepare ourselves well, we're open. We're open to anyone's kind of mood, and that starts affecting us. So the more we understand these things, then we start to think, okay, let me get up and give myself a little time to really crystallize for myself who I want to be today, for the rest of my life. Who do I want to be? And I've got that power. And then it's just during the day, it's just kind of coming back into, okay, the last hour, how has peace worked? Or did I go a bit off from that? Okay, let me bring myself back. What happened when, this morning I had some meditation, and there was really this feeling of gratitude. I felt, just the last few days, some of the experience I've had, I felt so grateful to have had those experiences. And I felt very much that I was supported in many ways, and I felt that power from above kind of supporting me, and I was really grateful. So I think that when that incident happened, when that person wasn't really nice, I was already in that feeling of, sort of God loves me, so what does it matter what human beings think of me? So I think because I'd already had that experience in the morning, this had less impact. Whereas if I hadn't had that, created that feeling of like I'm so grateful to all the things that have been given to me and all that divine help that I'm receiving, if I hadn't had that experience, then that might have impacted me, and I might have felt suddenly low. Because, that person didn't say that wasn't very nice. They shouldn't have said it like that. Why they, you know? So it's really like completely in our own hands how we live our life. And it's all based on this, what I'm telling myself. So this impact of self-talk, really self-talk is the biggest impact. And the beauty is that I can change, just like that little situation. I just left the area, gave me a few seconds to turn it all around, and didn't get into the same situation. So, and we can do this. It takes practice, because we're used to not doing it. So we have to practice in little situations. That's what, these were little situations, but the more you practice it, you use the little scenarios to practice turning things around, then when a bigger situations, you've already practiced shifting it. So this would be my eye, to be much more introverted. I would say the other thing is we have to kind of make meaning of what goes on in our mind. So if I'm not noticing, I won't be able to make meaning of it. So I start to notice something, and you start to make meaning of it. It's like, I'm going to give you an example now. So maybe something happened and I didn't respond well. Not about them, I didn't respond well. So then I can, okay, when I get a chance, I reflect. What was going on in me that didn't allow me to respond well to that situation? So I start to make meaning of what's going on inside me. It's not about them. I'm not like, my attention's not on them. Oh, they should have done it differently. No. What was going on in me that didn't allow me to be my best? And then I reflect on it and I think, okay, what needs to be put in place that won't happen again, or it's less like that. So, we all the time we get messages from life about how we're doing, how we're responding. We need to take time out to reflect and make meaning of it. How could I do that better? It's the little things in life. If we get the little things right, put attention to the little things, the bigger things, they sort of almost fall into place. There was one relative I had who was quite controlling, actually. He's changed a lot to me, but I remember I had to make meaning of it for myself, and thought, because I had to keep going back into that situation every so often, and I had to think about it. What could I do differently in that situation? And as I started to reflect on it, I thought, have I ever been controlling? Have I ever kind of thought this person should do it like this or this way? And I thought, yes, I have. Maybe that's been my own trend, that it'd be better if you do it like this, or it's better if you do it like that. So I decided that I was going to use it as payback time. So if any comment came to me, I should be doing it certain ways. If it was in my capacity to do it, I'd say, fine, let me do it like that. And what I noticed is, because I use it as a chance to pay back time, maybe I'd put out to the universe that I can control things. Now here comes the universe saying, here's an opportunity where you're going to be controlled. How do you manage it? And as I started to really work with this, I started to feel this joy of transformation, really, wow. So the same thing was coming, but it wasn't affecting me. I was thinking, this is payback time, this is payback time. And so I kind of have made meaning of it and started to use it in a different way. And actually, that same person doesn't do it to me. It went through a series of change. First it was, they were still doing it for a while because I had to do this payback, right? And then it started changing to, they would even say, I'm not trying to control you, I just thought I'd mention. And some of the things they said were very useful. And some of the things I still have implemented in my life, they were useful. Because the ego had dropped out of the situation, now I could see that there was some benefit in it. Before I was like, who are they to tell me? I might not say that, but I was thinking that. And then it went through a different phase, and now it very rarely happens. In fact, it's almost reverse. It's almost that person comes to me and, takes advice. So I've seen one situation, it took a couple of years, but it has really, really shifted because I took the time to make meaning of what was going on for myself and why this was happening. And of course, then what happens is you can start to apply it in your life. So now I started I've been consciously working it for a couple of years to stop giving advice to people and to stop saying they should do it this way. And sometimes I had to go lie on my bed. Don't say anything. But gradually, you start to see the change in you and the joy of you changing yourself. And of course, because I maybe had because we're from the same family, we probably grew up with the same kind of corrections. So we've all got it a little bit. I notice in the family that I'm in, when I go there, I notice we all correct a bit because we were corrected. And so now I'm really wanting to be free of that. I'm not responsible for correcting people. They have to find their own way. But I can be an example of what you do things. I don't want to be saying it. So yeah, sometimes I had to really it was hard because it's almost like to finish off that old pattern, I almost have to invoke things that you would want to correct, if you see what I mean. But as they come now more and more, there's a kind of, there you go, don't need to say anything. And sometimes I still notice I do it, but I think you didn't need to say that. You didn't need to say it. And the interesting thing is, when you stop saying it, it gives freedom to that person, and they usually start doing it anyway. So I think the whole thing in my self-talk, more and more there's a higher level of acceptance of myself, where I'm at, but also acceptance of what I still need to change. So in the past, maybe I didn't, when I saw some negative traits in myself, I maybe put myself down about that. Oh, I'm never going to change, or this, not feeling comfortable about my own, traits that I haven't changed. But now I'm like, no, I accept them, but now I want to work with them, do something different. So there's a whole new level of acceptance. And acceptance is such a beautiful thing, because the more you start to accept yourself, the more you start to accept that everyone's on their own journey and no one's perfect. But everyone's brings variety to life. Everyone's like a character. When you start stopping to control and accept everyone, you start to see, oh, everyone's so beautiful, and they bring this to the drama of life, and that person brings that to the drama of life. Some people are very humorous, some people are very caring, everyone's got something that they bring. Some are very organized, and so you start to see that everyone's got something to offer. But if you're only thinking in a correcting way, if your self-talk is correcting or even critical, you won't see life like that. You'll see that everyone should be doing it maybe your way, which is such an ego stance, right? So yeah, and then of course what happens is the more you accept yourself, others, even life, the more you accept it, then because you accept it doesn't mean you have to agree with everything about it, but it is what it is. So acceptance kind of puts you in a neutral. So what's happening in the world, accept it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or good or bad. I accept that what's happening in the world, but my attention is then not getting caught up with my thoughts about it. My attention is, okay, what's my contribution to the world? What energy could I put out to the world? So rather than thinking of all the horrors in the world, which I know there are, I'm aware of them. They are what they are, but what energy can I give out to make it a better world? So it kind of generates a more caring nature. Okay, if there's horrors in the world, let me put out more caring love. That's my contribution. Let me somehow counteract it by being more loving or more peaceful. So when I hear about things where there's a lot of peacelessness or conflict, okay, let me send good energies of peace there. Let me send energies of love there. Rather than, oh, they should be doing this, and that doesn't help anyone. So acceptance is not that we agree with it, but it puts us in the neutral to be able to be thinking about, rather than being consumed with our thoughts and feelings about it. It allows us that freedom to think, okay, what do I contribute? So that's what acceptance allows us to do. It's a bit like going into neutral gear in the car, and then from neutral you can go to any gear, right? I mean, it's amazing, isn't it, that you can be going quite fast and you go through neutral and you can go back down to second quite quickly with obviously the brake. But acceptance is more like a neutral. It's not about it's right. I'm not in that judgment of it's right or wrong. It's just, it allows me not to be consumed with my thoughts and feelings about it in that way. Using it in that way. And of course then that creates as I said, the onus is then on me to what's my contribution to the world. Because if I get so caught up in it, then my contribution, by thinking of it and not agreeing with it and everything, my contribution is negative. I'm actually empowering the very thing that isn't so good. But by pulling back, okay, that's the way it is, but by pulling back and think, okay, well, how can I contribute in thoughts, in feelings, in maybe even something I do? How am I choosing to contribute? And I guess the last thing I really want to share about in the self-talk, I've talked about, you need to be more introverted. You need to make meaning of what your self-talk is. You need to see how much are my thoughts aligned with my practical life. Am I having so many kind of thoughts that are not useful for my life? So, I mean, the great souls that I've met, they have a thought, a kind of powerful thought, and then they manifest it. They put it into action. And this is the greatness, really. They might have a thought, that person needs help. Okay, how do I help them? They manifest it. There was someone who came to me and they were so thrilled. They showed me a little picture on their phone that one of our really head teachers, the wife is not so well and not so mobile, and he showed me the picture that this high spiritual teacher who's really time is quite valuable, had come to the house and met them, and they were absolutely thrilled to bits. So that they must have, this teacher must have had that thought, okay, this person needs uplifting or encouragement. So what do? Their thoughts there, they put into practice. They managed to go visit, maybe only for 10 minutes, but they managed to fit it in. And then that person feels so uplifted. That upliftment may last for a year, or forever. This person came, it was like that. this person came to my house. They were thrilled. You see, so we need to think about how do we manifest these great thoughts and make it practical. I've talked quite a lot about acceptance. We have to accept, but we also have to create. So, it's not that I accept something and I don't do anything. No, okay, that's what's going on in the world. That's what's going on with that person. Okay, what can I create inside me? If someone doesn't talk to me in a way, like I had that experience today, then there must be something going on for them. Maybe they're a bit stressed, or they're not feeling so good, or their self-respect has gone down. Because if your self-respect is high, you wouldn't talk to someone like that, right? So, okay, rather than thinking, oh, they're like that, let me send them a good wish. I wish you peace. I wish you love. I hope your day changes. It's not, oh, just because it's come to me, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to even go near you. No, you can, with your thoughts, you can maybe send them a very beautiful, like flowery thought, if you like, give them a gift of a nice thought. They won't know about it. They might not know, but it might just shift their mood. So we have a lot of power if we get our self-talk right. Our self-talk is our power, The last thing that I wanted to share about before we open up for any questions is that one of the things that I feel is important about self-talk is to use my self-talk for transformation. And I've mentioned it a little bit, but one, to be able to transform my thoughts, to recognize when a thought is not beneficial to me. Because as I shared, Eric, it affects the body, it affects the atmosphere, it affects everything. So to become clearer for myself, what is a good thought? What is a beneficial thought for me? And start to work out, I might want to make a list, what kind of thoughts am I having that are not good for me? Because if they're not good for me, they're not going to be good for anybody else. They're certainly not going to be good for the body I'm in. So I need to kind of start weighing up a little bit more. Okay, do I want to continue with this thought? Even our thoughts are very habitual. So I might not be able to stop the thought coming because it's been a habit for a long time. A certain person or situation may invoke a thought in me that may be not so nice, but it's the second thought. Okay, the first thought comes. I can't control that. It's coming from a deep, deep place. But what I do with the second thought, okay, that's not a nice thought, let it go. Or let me transform it. That's the best. Transform that thought, So there's one character in my life that even in their presence, I can feel something come up, and some of the ways they do things or whatever, I can feel, I've started saying, everyone is playing their good part. So this is my mantra. As soon as I'm around, everyone is playing their good part. So that protects me. So the thought might come, everyone is playing their good part. So that protects me from negativity. It protects that thought going in my body more. It protects the atmosphere. So because I've started to practice it now, almost when I see that soul now, immediately it comes up. Everyone's playing their good part. We have to practice, you see. Just like if you want to be good at tennis, if you want to be good at the flute, you have to practice. We're practicing, can you imagine? We're practicing with our thoughts and seeing how they work. Not just allowing anything to kind of come in your mind. You have to kind of do a bit of sifting, to kind of think these kind of thoughts aren't helping me, they're not helping anyone, they're not helping the world. I need to change them. They're making me depressed. I need to stop it. I need to be putting something else in. And this is why one thing I really want to transform my life, to read something positive before you go to sleep. There's so many lovely books downstairs. There's this great book called, if I can get it right, something called Positive Thinking. I don't know if it's going to come. It's a little book. It's about this sort of shape, and a square shape, and it's got pictures. That's why I like it. And the font is big, which is good. And it's almost like it's only little bits, a couple of pages, so it's very easy to read before you go to sleep. And it's all about stand back, observe, steer. It's all about that from your thoughts. And it kind of gives you something, to think about. So it's really important, because when you go to sleep, your subconscious becomes open. And if you go to sleep with the troubles of the day, that's what's going to be ruminating in your subconscious mind. But if you, before you go to sleep, maybe clear your day by writing about it, whatever happened, even if it wasn't good, write about it and think, okay, what did I learn from that? What could I do differently? And you write that. So you kind of cancel out that day by your learning. Then you can let it go. Usually when you've taken learning for something, you can let it go, because you've got new learning now. You have to think, okay, how do I implement that learning tomorrow? Because it might be the same situation, but I have to go back into, okay, I learned today that didn't work. I wasn't tolerant enough. Okay, I learned I've got to be more tolerant. So, okay, how do I manifest that tomorrow? What can I do? You have to think of your own little plan. But also to read something really positive, very uplifting before you go to sleep, because then that is what goes into your subconscious mind. And then that's what's ruminating, and then you're more likely to wake up with a positive thought. And I've seen this many times. When I haven't taken the time properly to close the day, take my learning from it, and read something, I go for really high level positive stuff, elevate. Then I can see there's a big difference. When I do that consistently, then I catch the first thought that's coming up is a very beautiful thought. So, we can make quite fast transformation by being aware of before we go to bed, and being aware of the first 10 minutes when we wake up. The first 10 minutes when we wake up is when we have to set that I am. And if we work with those two, we'll see the condition of our mind starts to change. But if we allow ourselves to go to bed with all the stuff that we usually think about, we don't make any effort to change it, we don't kind of resolve things, we wake up with it. And of course, the more that happens, we go more and more into a kind of depression. So, we have to kind of make those changes. And that's probably the easiest way. Clear your day properly, and then the next day becomes like a new page, a new day. And I remember saying to someone the other day that I used to kind of really bug me, that phrase, today is the first day of the rest of your life. And I used to hear it a lot when I was a teenager. And now I think, that is the most fantastic thing, isn't it? So, whatever I decide, this is the first day of the new me. Whatever was yesterday, I can let it go. This is the first day of the new me. And how do I want to live from this point onwards? Whatever was in my past is gone. It's only a memory now. It doesn't exist. It's only in my head that it's there. But from today, I can do it differently. So this is kind of transformation, using your self-talk to transform yourself. And this is really where we need to pay a lot of attention. Whatever comes up in the mind, if it's not good, we have to change it, put in something different. So I'm going to stop there and just open it up if there's any questions or thoughts, or was it helpful? Any thoughts? Any questions? I come with a mic now. You know, it takes a little bit of one practice, but attention, because we've allowed our mind to just think whatever it likes. You know, so it's now pulling back the reins of that wild horse. But little by little, we can bring change, step by step. Questions? Okay, so maybe we'll use this time for a bit of a longer meditation. Okay? So actually, before I do, I'll just do a little summary, because I use the word impact. And so like a mnemonic, I really love doing this because it helps me really think about it. So the I was introverted. So the mnemonic I of impact, the letters of impact. I was the introvert. You've got to be introverted to notice what's going on. If you're always out there, you ain't going to notice. You have to bring your attention back in and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? What am I feeling right now? Then I put the M as making meaning of what's going on inside you. Why are these kind of thoughts coming up? Is it trying to tell me something? P, I said, you know, practical application, really. You know, the thoughts I'm creating, are they manifesting? Or I am having loads of thoughts, but nothing's happening? You know, it's like, it could be something simple, like, I need to clean that drawer upstairs. You know, my thought might come, oh, that drawer upstairs, it's full of rubbish and everything. Okay, thoughts come. Okay, when am I going to do something about it? Maybe I can't do it that moment, but okay, let me think, okay, I've got a bit of time on Thursday. On Thursday morning, that's my thing. I'm going to clean out that drawer. Do you see what I'm saying? Otherwise, we continually allow thoughts, but we never do anything about it. You know, and we keep putting it off. So this is what I mean by, if a thought comes, let me act on it. Might not be immediate. If it's immediate, great, but you can't always, right? So you have to. And then I put the whole thing about acceptance. So acceptance is not, I agree with it necessarily, but it makes it neutral for me so that I can pay attention to myself and what can I give? How do I respond? And then the C I put as caring. The more I accept and my tensions on myself, is saying, okay, what can I give? And my nature naturally becomes more caring, compassionate. Be compassion. C for compassion. Okay. And then the T, transform. Is my self-talk transform myself, or am I just thinking the same thing that I've been thinking for years and years and years? So transformation, is it, am I doing something with my thought to bring about transformation in myself? So let's have a little bit of meditation. Practical application. Because we have a lot of thoughts, but how many of them are manifesting? Okay, so let's just take some time to relax the body. Sit comfortably, relax. Very important. And then let's just bring our attention into the moment. And in the practice of Raj Yoga meditation, which is what I've been studying for all those 30 years plus, we see the two things, human and being. So I am the being of light that sits inside a human body. I sit in the center of the forehead behind the eyes. And from this position, I have access to all the senses and also to the brain. The brain is part of the body. I am this being of subtle light. I cannot be seen with the physical eyes, and yet my very presence makes everything in the body happen. This is the greatest phenomenon. Even to be sitting up in the chair is because I, the soul, the being of light, am present in the body. So such a tiny point of light, but what goes on inside that tiny point of light is what happens in my mind. My mind is not the brain. The mind is separate, part of my being. I am that being. I have a mind, and in that mind, I have the capacity to think. I have the capacity to think thoughts, create thoughts, put something in my mind. And whatever thoughts I allow in my mind is my self-talk. So let me create a thought about myself. I am a beautiful being, a peaceful being. Beauty is not about appearance of the body. Beauty is a quality of the inner being. The original state of every being is beautiful, because the original state of every being is pure, peaceful, loving, joyful. This is the real beauty of life. These inequalities are my innate beauty. So when I understand this and talk to myself about these qualities, I talk to myself that I am a loving being, that I have the capacity to be kind, be caring, be generous, be compassionate to others. I have the capacity to accept others as they are, be understanding. This becomes my self-talk. My self-talk moves away from being negative and controlling and critical and comparing. And my self-talk changes and becomes supportive and uplifting of myself and ultimately of others. As I talk to myself about my original state, creates a different vibration in my mind. And this has a profound uplifting effect on the body and the atmosphere. So my personal self-talk is highly important, because the energy produced by the thoughts I'm creating or allowing in my mind go out into the world. are not separate. Every thought has an energy. Positive thought, a loving thought has a high energy. Critical thought, a demanding thought has a low energy. So it's within my own power to either emit or emerge and let out an energy that's high or low. If I allow my mind to create low energy, that's what goes out in the world. If I focus, pay attention, create a high level of thought, positive, pure, loving thought, joyful thought, that's the energy I release into the world. So I am the creator of my own world and I contribute to the world. Understanding this, I start to realize when I change my self-thought, I help to change the world. I'm not separated from the world. We're all connected. So my change, my transformation of my thoughts starts to change the world. And the more of us that are involved in this transformation of that inner level of thoughts, we will together create better. We have the power to do it because it's based on our own thinking. Om Shanti, a beautiful ending. I am a peaceful soul, a peaceful being. This is the original estate of everyone. How much am I connected with it? It's up to me. Om Shanti.
A very good talk, very eye-opening. Some of the things I found which were very useful when the thing which so thank you very much for such an insightful talk on the events coming up next Tuesday, same place, same time. We have talk called Continuous Effort, the real secret of every Monday on sorry, every Sunday we have online meditation. We have a course coming up, Holistic Health, which will be on 6th of September in-house from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. We also have a fast-track Raj Yoga meditation course in-house, which would be once a week on Saturday. And this would be from 12 in noon till 1. And we also have a fast-track Raj Yoga course, which would be from 8th to 14th September, and this would be 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We also have reflective meditation, which is Monday and Thursday in-house and in person from 7 o'clock to 12 o'clock. You have to register for these what time they're, what days they're up at the product of the week is this book, Being Yourself, Seeing and Knowing What Didn't Get the Way and Is the Way. It's a very interesting book where Mike George, who is the author of this book, explores the idea of who I am. Eye-opening, interesting. So do check out while you exit from the shop. Thank you very much.